You know, deep down inside every single program you use, from your browser to the latest game on your console, there's a fundamental choice being made. It's something that's almost totally invisible to us as users, but it defines, well, everything about a programming language. We're talking about the silent battle between compile time and runtime. So, to get a feel for this, just ask yourself a quick question. Are you a meticulous planner? You know, the type who lays everything out perfectly in advance so things run as smoothly and efficiently as possible? Or are you more of an improviser, someone who thrives on adapting on the fly, making decisions at the very last second? Well, that very human tension, it's mirrored perfectly in the world of code. And this really breaks it down to its simplest form. Compile time, that's the planner's world. It's all the work, the checking, the translating, the optimizing that happens before you even hit run. Runtime, on the other hand, that's the improviser stage. It's what happens live while the program is actually running and you're interacting with it. Now, this isn't just some tiny technical detail. No, this is a huge choice that literally shapes a language's entire identity. The way a language divides up the work between these two phases, that is its core philosophy. I love this way of thinking about it. A program basically lives two completely different lives. Its first life is spent entirely with the compiler. That's compile time. This is where your nice, human-readable code gets translated into something the machine understands, it gets checked for all sorts of errors, and it gets optimized. Its second life, though, is with you, the user, and that's runtime, where that pre-translated code finally gets to execute on a real CPU. So this split, this division of labor, it gives rise to two totally competing philosophies about the best way to build software. And it all really boils down to one key concept. And that concept is called binding time. Now, I know that sounds super academic, but stick with me, it's actually pretty simple. It's just the moment of commitment. It's when the program decides, for example, that this variable called x is definitely 100% going to hold a number and nothing else. The big question is, when does it make that commitment? And that question leads us straight to our two big philosophies. On one side, you've got early binding, which gives us static languages like C++, Java, and Swift. These are the ultimate planners. They lock everything in at compile time. It makes them pretty rigid, but because of that, they're incredibly fast and safe. On the other side, you have late binding or dynamic languages like Python, JavaScript, and Ruby. These are the improvisers. They put off those decisions until the very last second at runtime, which makes them wonderfully flexible, but it comes with a performance cost. Let's use an analogy here. Team compile time is like a Michelin star chef. They do all their mise en place, all the chopping, the measuring, the prep work, hours and hours before dinner service even begins. So when an order finally comes in, bam, execution is flawless, it's efficient, and it's incredibly fast, all because the hard decisions were made way in advance. Then you've got team runtime, which is like an improv comedian. They walk out on stage with absolutely no script. They're just reacting to the audience, adapting on the fly, creating something brand new every single night. It's spontaneous, it's super flexible, but the whole show relies on them making all the right decisions right there, in the moment, live on stage. So what's the real trade-off here? Why would you pick one of these philosophies over the other? Well, it all comes down to the price of power, what you gain versus what you lose. Okay, check this out. Here's a really simple but powerful example of a compile time benefit. It's called constant folding. Let's say your code needs the number of seconds in a day. Instead of making the user's computer do the math, 24 times 60 times 60 every single time, the compiler just does it once itself. It bakes the final answer, 86,400, directly into the program. That saves precious CPU cycles when the program is actually running. Pretty smart, right? And this idea leads to one of the central goals of modern programming, zero-cost abstractions. This is kind of the holy grail, especially for stuff like game engines or operating systems where every single nanosecond counts. It means you, the developer, can write beautiful, high-level, easy-to-read code without paying any performance penalty when it runs. The compiler does all the heavy lifting to turn your elegant code into the fastest possible machine instructions. So when you put it all together, the payoff for all this upfront work is just massive. You get the absolute best performance and memory efficiency. But maybe even more importantly, you get correctness. The compiler literally acts like a mathematician. If your code compiles, it can actually prove that entire categories of bugs are simply impossible in the final program. It proves their absence. But, and you knew there was a but coming, there is no free lunch. All of this incredible compile time power comes at a cost, and that cost is paid almost entirely by the developer in the form of complexity, frustration, and a whole lot of time. And here's the absolute core of the challenge. How on earth do you debug code that's running inside the compiler before your program even technically exists? All of your normal debugging tools, they're completely useless here. It's like trying to fix a burnt cake while you're still just thinking about the recipe. And this quote, man, this just captures the pain perfectly, especially for anyone who's worked with C++. The debugging experience can literally mean trying to decipher an error message that is pages and pages long just to find one little type mismatch buried somewhere in the middle. It's notoriously, famously difficult. But the story doesn't end there in a mess of frustrating error messages. The line between compile time and runtime isn't this solid brick wall anymore. Modern languages are finding some really clever ways to start blurring it. And this is where you get these cool hybrid models, like just-in-time compilation, or JIT. You see this in languages like Java and modern JavaScript. A JIT is basically a compiler that runs alongside your program. It watches what's going on, identifies the bits of code that are being used most often, the hot paths, and it optimizes them right there, on the fly, based on what real users are actually doing. And this push for more power has led to some really incredible innovation. I mean, look at C++. It's moved from these arcane, almost magical template tricks to having clear keywords like const express. Then you have a language like Nim, which gives developers a powerful, practical toolkit to directly manipulate the code structure. And then there's Zig with its radically simple unified concept called comptime, where literally any piece of code can be run by the compiler. So with all this innovation and all this change, where is all of this actually heading? What does the future of programming look like when you consider this fundamental tension? What we're seeing is this great convergence. Dynamic languages like Python are adding static features. I mean, look at the rise of TypeScript for JavaScript to get more safety in tooling. And at the same time, static languages like C++ are becoming way more expressive and flexible at compile time. Everybody is sort of moving towards the middle, trying to get the absolute best of both worlds. And the future here, the thing that's really going to unlock the next level, isn't just about more fancy language features. It's about better tools. To truly harness this power, developers are going to need things like interactive debuggers for compile time code, intelligent systems that make builds faster, and error messages that are actually helpful. The next big frontier is all about the developer experience. Which leaves us with this one last, really fascinating thought. As we push more and more intelligence into that compile time phase, is the compiler's whole role changing? Is it slowly evolving from just being a simple, passive translator into something more, like an active, creative partner that helps us build software that's faster, safer, and more sophisticated than we ever thought possible?